All right, so here we go. We jump into what will be the last podcast for the year, unless James drags me back in next week. But this will be the last one. So I'm just doing sharing some of my thoughts around how we're getting set up now for 2024. And we're doing this on the back of an Auckland market that's gone a bit quiet. So the buyers have pulled up. The viewing numbers at open homes has dropped. Offers are still coming through. Sales are still being made, but it's come off that pre-election high that we sort of ran with for a while. So now as that market goes quiet, we're reinvesting our time heavily into getting geared up for and doing extra now for 2024. So let me give you some ideas on that. First one, prospecting. Increase the volume of your prospecting, and that's your doors and your calls. If you're an agent that's at the level where you're just doing calls, increase the numbers now so you're getting through far more people and making far more contact to find out who's thinking about doing what in 2024 and how can you help them. If you're on doors, and I'll talk about this again as we go through, if you're on doors, increase the hours that you're putting into the doors now. So if you're doing 2 hours a day or an hour a day, double it, go 4 hours a day or 2 hours a day. And if you're doing an hour in the morning, maybe you're just going to do an hour in the afternoons or the evenings also. If it's 2 in the morning, add 2 in the evening or the afternoon. So increase, double that up as you go through. You're going to need more stock when the market comes back. Next one is look at your current stock. Look at the advertising that you've got out there. Read it again. Now that you've been in market, do you need to refresh it? Is there aspects of the message that don't quite suit what the property really is doing? Now that you've done some open homes and you've been in there, what's working and what's not working? What's working against the property? Have you got a CV on there that's too high? And we're finding that now. You know, those current CVs are dated and they're too high compared to market. And if a buyer's looking at that, they're probably thinking, wow, I won't even come through. So do you need a message around there, which I see a lot now? Ignore CV, and then you're getting the interest. And obviously we're talking about properties here in particular that are auction or a no price strategy. Next one is your pipeline. Go into your pipeline and spend a bit of detail on it. Take time thinking about it. Get yourself off to one side where it's nice and quiet. Go through your spreadsheets of your pipeline. Maybe write them out again, type them out again, whatever you need to do. Reorganize them. Get the ones back up into the red, into your hot ones as you look through. What I like with pipeline also is that I take the property and I take a targeted campaign date and I put it into there. So I'm deciding I want that property in the market at this time for this reason. And then I've actually got a bit of structure around my conversations with the owner. As we do that, we have to think about January, February. We've got those holidays. Auckland for us is going to be Auckland anniversary. Everybody's got the Waitangi Day coming through. So that jigs it out a little bit with the launcher campaigns and when they're going to run. Do you take advantage of those long weekends? Waitangi, do you actually make it a weekend where you've got Saturday, Sunday and Monday open homes as opposed to saying, hey, look, we're going to lose time on it? You take it as an advantage. Next one I've got is cleaning up data. And here what we're thinking about, what I'm looking at is how clean is your data? Do you have just a contact list? You've got names and you've got phone numbers, you've got names, you've got email addresses, but you don't know about the properties. And that's what we sell. So we really need to actually take a contact list and make it into a database. Database is, here's the name, here's the phone number, here's the email address, and here's the property or the number of properties that this client has. And then we're thinking about the client differently. And it might be they've got investment properties and we're having a look at the prime property. And we all know there's databases in which you compare those notes and you start putting it together. As I've got a database which has got homes on it and people attached to the homes, it's starting to match my strategy as I do farming. And therefore, as you do farming, it's cleanest to start with that. You farm farm and you know the home, and then you're attaching the owner to it. So creating a database. So you've got plenty of time now, if the market's gone a little bit quiet, to work on your database and tidy it up. Find out, where do they live? What do they own? What else do they own? How valuable is this client? How, they go up to being one of my VIP clients, and I'm doing even more for them as I go through. Next one is we're looking at our personal marketing. So it's not unusual to see somebody that's got a little bio on your website. Here's your beautiful little photo, and here's your bio, and it still reads the one that you used when you started real estate. And that clearly sounds like somebody who's gone from another industry into real estate, and all of your talking points are about your previous experience. Well, okay, if you're a real estate agent now, get rid of that. No one actually cares. And talk about real estate and what you do in there, how you're different, how you can offer a service. Get your flavor through so they see that. Or you might find that there's stuff on there that refers, and I've been trapped myself, stuff that refers to a couple of years ago, and it sounds like it was still current, but it's just out of date. So have a look at that as you go through. Then we'll jump into marketing strategy. You should be well down the track and you should have all your material in now, but if you haven't, it's not too late. Get in there and grab your stuff. What is your marketing strategy for 2024? What are the DLEs? What are the drops? What are the volumes? What are the messages? Have you got them printed and already sitting in your office or your garage in our case? Or do you need to do that and have them hit the market nice and early? Have you done calendars? This is the time of year where you get to do it. Have you done your calendars? Have you done your notepads? Have you done your pens? Are you getting your brand out there to remind people when you're not around that they should have you top of mind when they're thinking real estate? Are you doing billboards? Are you doing some signage anywhere? You've got signage around dairies. Some of our guys have done that. It's very, very effective. Have you taken some space up in a supermarket? You get the display there and you get people walking past it continuously. Are you looking at events? I know guys are planning events now. What is the event you're going to do for your client? Is it a wine tasting evening? The Kiwis will all turn up to that, and they're pretty easy to do. And will you get enough people there in the room and network and suddenly remind them you're the person in real estate? And then the other one, obviously, is your digital lead generation. How good is that? Are you still using the right provider? Are you spending enough? Are you spending too much? What's your return? What's your cost per lead coming in? What are the other people in that industry doing? And is there somebody who's doing a better job of it? Should you be having a look at that? And then to tie all of that in, it is maybe just having that chance to stop and think about, is your business plan still accurate? And I know we would typically talk GCI, gross commission income, but you may just adjust that back and go number of sales, because you know what your average sale price will be, you know what your average commission is. That will give you the earnings that you're looking for. So you might bring it back and go number of sales. And if I go off number of sales, then I'll be number of listings. What's the ratio to list to sell now? And that will actually work on your method of sale. Method of sale will change the ratio of list to sell. So number of sales, number of listings, coming off the back of that, number of appraisals. And that's probably the key indicator that we're looking for. How many appraisals are you doing? That will generate your listings. You're not doing the appraisals, you won't be getting the listings. So we're looking at that. And now to generate the appraisals, real easy. Probably 3 areas, and we all know this. Phone calls. You're making the phone calls to find out who's ready and who wants an appraisal. You're doing door knocks. You're going through your targeted farm area. Or I know some guys are still doing it around their listings or new listings. I prefer back in the farm every single time, or take your farm B, create the second farm area, create some consistency in that. But you're going through there, and that's creating the opportunity to go and tell somebody what their home potentially is worth. And then the third one, so first one, phone calls, second one, farm area. Third one is open homes. The people that are in real estate mode or coming into real estate mode that have come through your open, have you been back in touch with them? Do you realize that that they will create listing opportunities going forward. So there we go. That is a pretty simple wrap. All the best for the Christmas period. I hope you do get a break with family and loved ones, and I hope you have that time to stop and think about your business and to fire it up in 2024. If the market's a little bit quiet, invest that time you've got back into getting your structure right, so when the market picks up, and it will, you've got listings sitting in there and you take off. So there we go. Merry Christmas.